Hello and welcome. I am Talkos from Maniacal Laughter, and tonight we're going to be reading from Santiago by Mike Resnick. Santiago is self-described as a myth of the far future, and it is very much so. Think of the campfire myth of Pecos Bill and the Wild West. That's what it intends to evoke. And it's especially interesting because some of the characters described, especially Santiago, are really not seen except by their actions and their deeds and how other people think of them. Anyways, I'm going to read you a little bit about Santiago and another bit about the Angel of Death. Each section each chapter is fronted by a little poem. The backstory on that is there's a poet going around the frontier worlds trying to catalog and enshrine in legend the various personalities that go through the frontier. Anyways, let's listen to Santiago. They say his father was a comet, and his mother a cosmic wind, that he juggles planets as if they were feathers and wrestles with black holes to work up an appetite. They say he never sleeps, that his eyes burn brighter than a nova, and that his shout can level mountains. They call him Santiago. Far out on the galactic rim, at the very edge of the outer frontier, there is a world called Silver Blue. It is a water world, with just a handful of islands dotting the placid ocean that covers its surface. If you stand on the very largest island and look into the night sky, you can see almost all of the Milky Way, a huge, twinkling river of stars that seems to flow through half the universe. And if you stand on the western shore of the island during the daytime, with your back to the water, you will see a grass-covered knoll. Atop the knoll are 17 white crosses, each bear the name of a good man or woman who thought to colonize this gentle world. And beneath each name is the same legend, repeated 17 times. Killed by Santiago. Toward the core of the galaxy, where the stars press together so closely that night is as bright as day, and there is a world called Valkyrie. It is an outpost world, a place of ramshackle trader towns filled with dingy bars and hotels and brothels, where the explorers and miners and traders of inner frontier congregate to eat and drink and embellish a few tall tales. The largest of Valkyrie's trader towns, which isn't really very large, also has a good postal station that stores subspace messages the way old postal stations of old used to store written mail. Sometimes messages are held for as long as 3 or 4 years, and frequently they are routed even closer to the galactic core, but eventually most of them are picked up. And in this postal station there is a wall that is covered by the names and holographs of criminals who are currently thought to be on the inner frontier, which tends to make the station very popular with bounty hunters. There are always 20 outlaws displayed, never more, never less, and next to each name is a price. Some of these names remain in place for a week, some a month, a handful for a year. Only 3 names have ever been displayed for more than 5 years. 2 of them are no longer there. The third is Santiago, and there is no holograph of him. On the colony world of St. Joan, there is a native humanoid race known as the Swale. They are no longer any colonists. They have all departed. Near the equator of St. Joan, very close to where the colony once lived, there is a blackened swath of land almost 10 miles long and half a mile wide on which nothing will ever grow again. No colonist ever reported it, or if any of them did, the report has long since been misplaced by one of the democracy's 30 million bureaucrats. But if you go to St. Joan and ask the Swale what caused the blackened patch of ground, they will cross themselves, for the colonists were a religious lot and very evangelical, and tell you it is the mark of Santiago. Even on the agricultural world of Ranchero, where there has never been a crime, not even a petty robbery, his name is not unknown. He is thought to be 11 feet 3 inches tall, with wild, unruly orange hair and immense black fangs that have dug into his lips and now protrude through them, and when youngsters misbehave, their parents have merely to hint at the number of naughty children Santiago has eaten for breakfast, and order is immediately restored. Wandering minstrels sing songs about him on Minotaur and Thesis, the twin worlds that circle Sigma Draconis, and he is always portrayed as being exactly 217 years old, taller than a bell tower, and broader than a barn, a hard-drinking, womanizing prince of thieves who differs from Robin Hood, another of their favorites, primarily in that he takes from the rich and poor alike and gives only to himself. His adventures are legion, ranging from his epic hand-to-hand struggle with a chlorine-breathing Gorgon to the morning he went down to hell and spat full in Satan's burning eye, and rarely is there a day that does not witness the addition of a few new stanzas to the ever-evolving Ballad of Santiago. And on Dolores 8, the huge capital world of the race of man, the nerve center of the democracy, there are 11 governmental departments and 1,306 men and women charged with the task of finding and terminating Santiago. They doubt that Santiago is his given name, and they suspect that some of the crimes attributed to him were committed by others. They are almost certain that somewhere in their files they possess his photograph or holograph, but have not yet matched it with his proper identity, and that is their sum total of their knowledge of him. 500 reports come to them daily. 2,000 leads are followed each year. Munificent rewards have been posted on 500,000 worlds. Agents sent out armed with money and everything that money can buy, and still these 11 departments exist. They have outlived the last 3 administrations, and they will continue to survive until their function has been fulfilled. Silverblue, Valkyrie, St. Joan, Ranchero, Minotaur, Theseus, Dolores 8, interesting and evocative worlds all. But an even more interesting world in the strange tapestry of Santiago's life is the outpost world of Keepsake, for at the heart of the inner frontier, Keepsake is the home, at least temporarily, of Sebastian Nightingale Kane, who dislikes his middle name, his profession, and his life, not necessarily in that order. He has fought for what he believes to have been the good fight many times over, and he has never won. Not much excites his imagination any more, and even less surprises him. He has no friends and few associates, nor does he seek any. Sebastian Nightingale Kane is by almost every criterion a nondescript and unremarkable man, and yet our story must begin with him, for he is destined to play a major role in the saga of the man only known as Santiago. That's the beginning. And now, one of the major foes is the Angel of Death. They call him the Angel of Death. If you've ever seen him, you've drawn your last breath. He's got cold, lifeless eyes, he's got brain, he's got skill. He's got weapons galore and a yearning to kill. Nobody knew where he came from. It was rumored that he had been born on Earth itself, but he never spoke of it. Everyone knew where he got his start, or why he chose his particular occupation. Some people say that he had been married once, that his wife had been raped and murdered, and that he took his revenge on the whole galaxy. Some were sure that he had been a mercenary who had gone berserk during a particularly bloody action, but no one who had ever met him and lived to tell about it thought him crazy. In fact, it was his absolute sanity that made him so frightening. Others thought that, like Cain, he was simply a disillusioned revolutionary. Nobody knew his true name, or even how he came to be called the Angel. Nobody knew why he chose to work on the outer frontier, out on the galactic rim, when there were so many more worlds within the democracy where he could ply his bloody trade. But there was one thing everybody knew. Once the Angel chose his quarry, that quarry's days were numbered. In a profession where reputations could be made by even a single kill, Sebastian Kane, Giles Sans Pity, and Peacemaker McDougal actually had a combined total of less than 70. Johnny One Note was still looking for his 6. The Angel had hunted down more than 100 fugitives. In a profession where anonymity went hand in glove with success, the angel was known on 1,000 worlds. In a profession where each practitioner carved out his own territory and allowed no trespassing, the angel went where he pleased. And those were two passages from Mike Resnick's Santiago, A Myth of the Far Future. He actually has several books in this series, as well as several books in the same universe, his Far Future universe. They're all good, all wonderful. The Santiago and the Widowmaker books are the ones that generally have the most mythic and most telltale feel to them. The others are somewhat more straight science fiction, but if you enjoyed that, I hope you will go and check them out. Anyways, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk at you later.